So I took a dive and I installed 14.3.3. I was going to stick to 14.2.2.5 longer because I've read mixed reviews of 14.3, but I figured, you know what? I was looking on YouTube. There's only probably like 4 people, maybe 5 that reviewed 14.3.3. So I thought, why not? I'll just go ahead and add it. So they added self-driving stats now where you can maintain your FSD streak. Apparently I got 71%. I try not to keep a streak or anything. I just use it whenever I can. But based on what I know, it keeps the streak as long as you don't intervene and interrupt it. Like, so you can park, then you can move your car out of parking and then start self-drive and it doesn't break your streak. I think it's stupid to add a streak in this system because it just incentivizes people not to intervene. And I think that could put them in danger. So that seems to be the consensus with other people as well, and I agree with that. They've got a new gallery here for the cars where you can set your own paint. This is the closest I can get to stealth gray. I mean, that's what my car is. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool, I guess. So you can go. Oops, just brought it down. Software. You click on your car. Oops. There we go. And you can set the color. Paint shop. This is nothing new, but the way it looks is new. So they're saying with 14.3.3 for Model 3, the 2026 one, that if they put on the signals, it ignores it and it doesn't turn. But I've seen people with 2024 and 2025 models, they're all Highland. They're able to signal and FSD follows it. So I don't know, maybe it's a 26 issue, which doesn't make sense if it's all the same hardware, right? So something must have changed in 26. I know they've got the front camera, but that shouldn't change the hardware apart from the camera. I mean, the FSD computer should be the same. So I wonder what changes Tesla's made. I'll test it out. We'll see if it, if it does what I want it to do. Also, I think people said that Mad Max is slower now. Doesn't reach like 85. Maybe it's like 79 now, max 80. They said that it tends to follow further now, so it doesn't tailgate as much, as close. And let's see what else. Oh, they said if you're making an exit, it'll merge into a lane further out instead of waiting till the last second. But then I've also heard stories where it'll signal last second before making a turn. Before, like with 14.2.2.5, it would signal ahead of time and then make the turn. So now it's kind of the opposite of that now. It'll make the turn it'll make the signal last second as it's making the turn. So we'll see how the behavior is. Supposedly Nag is not as prevalent anymore as it used to be. I guess people are saying that, well, Elon actually tweeted out saying that Nag is less, and people have confirmed that. I guess there's no real metric that you can go by. Like, what is the timing of a Nag? Maybe I'll give it a try right now. I'll tell you guys, okay? So it's parked right now. It probably won't nag me because it didn't before either. So I don't anticipate it nagging me right now. But I've got... Okay. So it'll think I'm looking at my phone because I have Insta up and the Insta locks the screen a little bit. But let's see if it thinks I'm looking at my phone, because I'm bringing it up to my face, okay? So I'm bringing the phone up to my face, and let's see if it nags me and how long it takes. Let me start the test over, because I feel like I already had it in my face. So we will time it now, okay? I've got a counter here, so I can count exactly when. All right, so we're starting at 42, and we'll see how long the nag counter takes before it says something to me. So I'm going to act like I'm texting. And I'm not going to look up, okay? So I'll look at the phone, but I'll kind of stare at the screen just to get an idea if it flashes blue and nags me. But right now it's been 20 seconds. My 202, it has not nagged me once yet. That's pretty crazy because I'm looking down right now. I mean, I'm kind of looking up just because I want to stay safe, but I don't think the cabin camera knows I am, because I'm just looking up briefly really quick, make sure everything's safe. But I'm at 220 now. I started at 142 and it's still going It's not nagging at all. I'm at 227 with the phone in hand, so I could legit be texting right now. 230, 231, 233, still nothing. It hasn't nagged me. Wow. Did they just get rid of nag or what? Like, I mean, I'm not going very fast. Granted, I'm not on the highway or anything. It'll probably nag me if I'm on the highway, I think. But city driving with not too many cars, and it's 6 o'clock right now. I mean, people are getting off work or they're ready off work. But yeah, I mean, it's not nagging me like at all. I'm 3 minutes into it from 142. Maybe I'll keep going. I mean, I kind of want to pay attention to my surroundings, but now when it's even with previous versions, when it's stopped like this, it doesn't nag. So I'll continue going. We started at 142, just so you guys know as a timestamp, and we're currently at 319, 320. Okay, we just hit 320. So we'll see. Here, you guys can see the counter. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing on it. 331. No nag yet. I'm even looking away from the front, looking at the phone. Wow. I mean, that's pretty nuts. By now, like the older versions were like flashing blue, and eventually I'd hear a chime, right, to say, hey, pay attention, like, what are you doing? They did improve the reaction time, I think, by like 20% or something, I think they said in the install notes. So maybe that's part of the reason why it nags less now, because it can anticipate things better. But I mean, we started at 142. I'm at 412 right now, and continuing the countdown. I'll put it up on the screen. All right, so 420 right there, and we're still going. I could legit just be sitting here playing a game on my phone, forget about texting, and this damn thing would not be nagging me. Is this entirely safe? It's not legal. I mean, if there was a cop, I'd probably be in trouble. You're not supposed to be texting and driving, so it doesn't matter if you have L2 or not. You can't use that as an excuse with the police. Police, if you're watching this, is a science experiment. I have been paying attention to the road, even though I have the phone in my hand. Just as a disclaimer, I am paying attention. But yeah, so I think I'm just gonna stop it here. We can pretty much say the nag in city driving is, to me, non-existent. We're at 5 minutes, so I'm gonna leave that here. I really do hope that FSD is much safer than it was before, and that's why Tesla internally decided to reduce the nag, and not for PR purposes, because FSD is still an AI. It can make mistakes, and you can have a catastrophic accident. I don't know if I necessarily agree with less nag or not. I mean, it's still the same system. It's still FSD 4. If it was like hardware 5, then I could see why they would do that, because now you've got a huge hardware upgrade, right? Like the hardware is so much better. Cameras are probably going to be so much better, and there's going to be a shit ton more memory. So FSD will just naturally work better. But yeah, this is a couple-year-old hardware already. So when did it come out? Like 2022, 23? So I think 23. So it's like 3 years old now. I mean, if you compare that to your PC or something, 3-year-old PC, yeah, you can still play the latest stuff on it, but it's assuming it was high-end when you bought it. I don't think the hardware that Tesla put in here is really high-end. It's good, but it's not high-end. I mean, NVIDIA has better stuff right now with their Drive AI. Also, I think it only has 16 gigabytes of RAM, so it's not really much at all. I mean, my PC at home has 32, and now 32s, I mean, with the RAM prices, it's kind of absurd. You can't buy them anymore, but before the prices, skyrocketed. I mean, getting a 64 gigabyte PC didn't really cost much. So back when this hardware 4 was made, Tesla should have anticipated they'd need more RAM and put 64 in each car, or even 128. I don't understand why they didn't. I mean, the cost to the end user probably would have been a couple $100, so it would have been totally worth it. Sometimes I just don't understand how these car companies think and why they do what they do. So we're here. I'm gonna give the car a quick wash. It's super dusty the last few days. I'm going to intervene right here just because I'm going to break my... So, here, speaking of intervening, it said, why did you intervene? Navigation, parking, critical, other. So I'm just going to say other. There was no real reason for me to intervene. I did it because I want to take over these bumps. They got way too many bumps here. I'm going to go around these right here. FSD, especially with the Model 3 performance, I mentioned this before, it goes over these bumps way too fast. And with these performance tires, I'm not going to risk it. Jeez, I got 2 other cars waiting. This is nuts. Okay, so we're back. We finished the car wash. So as soon as I exit the car wash, I'll turn FSD back on. We're going to go get some food. And then from there, probably go home. Well, maybe I'll hit the highway. Just to see how it does. Okay, so I'm not going to turn on FSD yet because, well, hold on. Hey, Grok, I want you to take me to Angry Chicks, but I want you to use the highway to get there. All right, let's see if it does it.
Navigating to...
I don't think it's going to use the highway, even though I asked it to. We'll see. So, yeah, it doesn't look like it. It's not going on the highway. I tried. Maybe I'll do it on the way back manually. Like I'll get on the highway, then I'll turn it on. Because, you know, FSD does its own thing, right? I mean, you could ask it to do something. It's not guaranteed that it's going to do what you're asking. Like you can tell it, hey, like I've had this, you know, before where I'll say, hey, you know, let's go to this destination. I want you to take the highway instead of the back roads. And Grok acknowledges it, and it still takes the back roads. Excuse me. So I had that happen to me when I was actually showing off FSD to my cousin. I tried to get it to go on the highway, and it ignored me twice before it actually did go on the highway. But it took a little prodding for me for it to actually change its navigation and actually head to the highway. So if you guys notice, my streak still says 0.5. I guess it reset when I intervened at the car wash. Jeez, I'm sweating like crazy right now. So to recap, what's new in 14.3.3? Well, compared to 14.3.2, I don't know because, well, look at that. Like it took a second there to slow down for that car. Like it kept going, and last second it braked. You guys saw that. 14.2.2.5 would have slowed down ahead of time. It wouldn't have kept going and then braked. You know, that's something new. What was I saying? Yeah. So what's new in 14.3.3? I don't know what's too different from 14.3.2 because I skipped 14.3.2 on purpose. Just because I saw, like, you know, with all the brake stabbing and everything else that people were complaining about, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to go through that because I liked 14.2.2.5 so much. And even coming to this today I was really hesitant because I was like, do I really want to switch over? You know, I've seen Olson's Derek, I think his name's Olson, right? The guy from Canada. I see his videos. I comment on him sometimes. And you know, he used ASS, you know, actually Smart Summon. That came in 14.3, right? Where it's using the version 14 stack now. They increased the radius in 14.3.3. That's what it is. Not the radius, sorry. The speed to 5 miles an hour, I think. Whoa, what is it doing? What is it doing? Is it going to run red? Holy shit. It would have slowed down 14.2.5 right there. That was wild. That is something totally new right there. I've never seen FSD do that. It actually freaked me out right there. Because I thought we're not going to make the yellow. That was really close. Like, borderline illegal almost and unsafe. Because even if I was driving manually, I would have slowed down for that yellow and stopped. But this thing decided to run it. So whoever they're taking their training data from is probably those people that run yellows at high speed. I'm not one of them. Anyhow, maybe because I'm on Mad Max and it behaves differently. I don't know. I guess let me switch to standard and see how it behaves. We'll see if it still does that at yellow lights if we get a chance. But yeah, so they increased it to, I think, 5 miles an hour for actual smart summon or AS. That's the change in 14.3.3. I don't use that at all. Because number one, anywhere that I park, I enjoy walking to my car and back. You get those few steps in, I mean, how lazy can you be? But I mean, I guess if it's like raining or super cold or snowing out, I live in California, right? So there's really no need to use actual smart summon. But I guess if you're in one of those winter states or those flyover states that have like, dreaded weather, for most of the year, maybe it makes sense over there to use actual smart summon. But in a place like California or Florida or even Arizona, you don't need that. You just walk to your car. What else? I think that's it. That's the big change from 14.3.2. And 14.3 has a 20% faster performance, I think. The jitter was in 14.3.2, which supposedly should be gone in 14.3.3. Not entirely, but should be reduced to the point where, it's not as bad anymore. So far, I'm not really noticing. I am noticing harsher braking compared to 14.2.2.5, but it's not like to the point where it's bothering me. The only thing that bothered me so far with this new version is the fact that it went past that yellow at high speed. Because, I mean, it's a little risky. I mean, people do it all the time. I think we were cutting it really close there, though. Navigation seems okay. We're doing 43 in standard mode with a speed limit of 40, so it's not too bad. So I have a thing where if a new FSD version comes out, I always wash the car just so I can do an optimal test. I mean, if you have dirty cameras, then you can't really make a fair assessment or judgment of FSD because then the cameras could be blocked or whatever, and you're not necessarily getting optimal FSD performance. So I choose to have a clean car when I do it. I mean, regardless, you should be keeping your camera viewing areas clean, especially if you use FSD daily, right? Even if you don't wash your car every day, I'd recommend just having a squirt bottle and a rag and just keeping the cameras clean. Hopefully with hardware 5, every single car will come with their own washer built in, so you don't have to do it by hand every time. So far so good in standard mode. It's doing 43. I would assume since this is merged now with the Cybercab, or Cybertaxi, not Cybercab, Cybertaxi stack, maybe Cybercab too, but it's merged with the Cybertaxi stack. So now consumer cars and Cybertaxi are all in the same stack. So the behavior that you see on standard is probably what you'd get with a Cybertaxi. Cybertaxi is probably a little bit more safe or strict, I would say, because they've got redundant systems and teleoperated and everything, and they're trained on a certain grid that it goes in. It's not free to roam anywhere, so it's closed in, I guess, where it can travel, versus consumer FSD just goes anywhere. So I haven't noticed like too many people using FSD, even though they have Teslas, because I do look over and I pay attention, and I don't think too many people have noticed that I'm using FSD, even though like I have my hands on the sides, but they're on my knees. So they could think like maybe my hands are down below just controlling the steering wheel, so they don't necessarily think anything about it. Like if I raise my hands up here and I like kind of cuff them, put my hands together, and then I drive like this if they happen to look over, because my windows are not tinted. People always ask me, hey, when are you going to tint your car? But probably never. I've never really been a fan of tinting my windows. I just don't really see the need for them. I know it cools your car down and all that, but yeah, I prefer to keep it stock. Plus, I think, I mean, I don't know if it makes a difference when you trade the car in or not. I mean, Tesla is notorious for lowballing the price anyway when you trade in. I went to the Tesla app just because I was curious what mine would trade in for. And keep in mind, this is a 25 with 7,000 miles on it. And I think they offered me like 41,000, which I think is pretty below market value. I've seen 24s going for like 48. So I would assume if I went to a private sale or Carvana or something else like that, I'll probably get like 47, 48,000 for it, which is not bad, you know. Retain the value decently enough, I guess. I was actually tempted to get a 26 because it's got the front-facing camera and the turn signal and the black badges, and I was like, yeah, not a huge difference, but I was tempted to just trade it in and pay the difference to get a 26, and I thought that's stupid. Especially in this economy, it makes no sense to do something dumb like that for the same car, you know. So I'll wait. I'll hold my horses until Hardware 5 comes out, and then I'll grab that on day one release. I'm actually hoping Hardware 5 comes out in 2027. It's looking most likely that it probably won't, given what the world is going through right now. You know, the war in the Middle East, the supply shock. You know, oil controls everything, right? So you got a major supply shock, economic downturn, and RAM prices are still out there. So I don't really see Tesla pushing that hard for a early 27 release for Hardware 5. Maybe late 27 or early 28. I wish it was sooner, because that way my car would have a higher trade-in value. The longer it takes, the less my value is. So I really want the Hardware 5 Model 3. I'm hoping they update the Model 3 a little bit with a bigger battery. Like, look at that dog looking at me. Like 100 kilowatts an hour, because BMW is doing it, right? So they could put 100 in here, especially with the Model S no longer being a thing. Create like a tri-motor Model 3 Plaid with a 100 kilowatt battery. Oh my God, that'd be a fucking dream. Even though I assume the car would be like $70,000. So I don't know if I'd necessarily get it. I'd have to see the specs in this performance. But if they do come out with a Model 3 Plaid, that'd be amazing. Especially if it's like 800 horsepower, 8 to 900, you know, that'd be really good. Definitely needs 800 volt charging. That's like a minimum Tesla needs to do now. Almost everybody's at 800 now, it seems. You know, all the Chinese are. Even, you know, Hyundai's been there for a while, or Kia, whatever. So all the new cars that are BMWs there. So they're all at 800, and there's no reason Tesla should be still at 400. I understand it's limited by the superchargers, but they need to step up with the superchargers too and push those 800 eventually. But the cars should get there first with 800 anyway. I mean, then the superchargers can catch up later on, because it's not just about charging. You get your car is more efficient with 800 volts because the motors, I mean, the battery doesn't get as hot, right? Because you're pushing less amps through it. So in theory, if it's not getting as hot, you could sustain higher performance for a longer time. So if you have a performance model car, it'll stay at a higher speed, and it'll get there maybe faster because the battery's cooler, but it'll maintain it longer. So you can, you know, if you go to drag or something, you can race your car longer without overheating. Or if you're doing a track day and you want to go around a couple rounds and your battery's not going to overheat, you don't have to go into endurance mode necessarily, right? And you can just, especially if they improve the battery cooling, like I think Mercedes AMG, they have like separated battery coils and like individual pockets, and they're encased in oil, a cooling oil. I think these are water cooled too. I don't think they're oil cooled, but I think Mercedes is going with oil, and they're cooling those down. That's a 100 kilowatt pack for their AMG. Rip off though. The price is like, I think like 190,000 euros. Fucking stupid. Why would you buy that Mercedes? I mean, it's got 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, granted, but that's nothing new, right? I mean, Model S Plaid is doing that for half the price. and Chinese cars are doing it, like SU7 pushing pretty close to that, like so. I don't really see what Mercedes is thinking, and it's not even that good looking either. I mean, if I had to pick, I'd pick the SU7 Ultra over that anytime. So yeah, so far so good though with FSD. Streak is 7 miles. Behavior's good. I mean, traffic is kind of light right now because it's almost 7 o'clock. I did hear though that parking is not as good as 14.2.2.5. So we're gonna see how it does when we get to the restaurant. See if it parks like because 14.2.2.5 used to park perfectly. I never had issues with parking. I mean, not perfectly every time, but I would say 80 to 90% of the time I didn't have to intervene for it to do, for parking, which is pretty good because normally I like to park myself, but with 14.2.2.5 I got comfortable enough to where I started letting it do that. At superchargers, at most retailer shops or restaurants, I would let it park as long as sufficiently away from other cars, because I don't like having my car next to a car or even between cars, because people are dicks and they don't care and they just ding your car. So I try to stay away from others. There's been way too many cases. If you guys are on Reddit and you watch the model, if you look at Tesla Collision, the subreddit there's always people there talking about how some asshole, parked next to them and hit their door. It's weird, and it's like a weird psychological thing that I noticed. I'm going to segue a little bit, or continue on this topic, but segue away from FSD. When you park, let's say you park, and let me know if you guys have experienced this. When you park far away from everybody, right? Like, let's say you're at a parking lot, you're going to a grocery store or a shopping center, and you park far away from everybody, and there's always that one fucking asshole that decides he wants to park right next to you, right? And it's so weird. So I saw somebody in Reddit try to explain that. They said, well, because there's drivers out there that don't know how to line up their car, so they use your car as a reference to park, which is really weird. If that's the case, those people should not have a driver's license. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. I disagree with that. I just think it's people being assholes, and they figured, hey, that guy's parked far away, let me just park right next to him just to antagonize him. But yeah, so I keep my car far away from everybody if I can, unless I don't have a choice and it's super packed, and I do whatever I got to do. But other than that, I stay away from everybody. So it turned in nicely. It's nice and smooth. It's beating the oncoming traffic. It's slowing down to 8 miles an hour, which is good. I mean, it's the same as before. Let's see how it handles parking. And then I'm going to go in and get my food, and we'll continue. See, it parked. Okay. I thought it was parking next to this car. So it's backing up, which is good. And it's far away from everybody. So I'll keep the parking as long as it does it correctly. So Devin Olson, he noticed that I went over the hump right here. I want to see if mine does that. No, it didn't. Okay, good. I didn't hit the brakes. So it stopped right there, Devin. So I don't think he's watching my stuff, but I'll let him know in the comments. His is a regular Model 3, and it went over the curve by a good amount. And I have a Model 3 Performance, and you guys see this diffuser right here? This car sits lower, and based on his video, I think he had less than an inch clearance. Mine would have scratched the shit out of it, and I would have been pissed beyond belief. But fortunately, this seems okay. You guys see that? Here's a rear camera, so that's okay. We got clearance, so we can look on the sides, right? These are okay. So yeah, we got the white lines are good. Parking is decent, so no complaints. We'll be back. I'm going to drive the car to the highway manually, because I know otherwise it will not take the highway. So let's just do that real quick. We're on standard. Let me switch to Mad Max. Let's see how fast this thing goes. It's not staying on the highway very long at all. It's only half a mile. I'm going to intervene just because I don't want it getting off the exit. This thing does not want to stay on the highway. It wants to take back roads so badly. So once we start getting ready for the exit, that's why it's not going very fast. So I'll go ahead and cancel here and just say other. It's not really a navigation issue, it's a me issue. All right, now we're going to continue. And we're past that, so it's not going to take that anymore. Okay. Now it wants to this thing does not want to stay on the highway. So, increased attention required, Mad Max profile selected. So there you go. There is more nag with Mad Max, so it wants you to pay attention. Also, the fact that, you know what, hold on. Hey, Grok? Hey, Grok. So cancel navigation to home and instead set it to the supercharger. I would prefer it was doing like 85 in the left lane if it was up to me like it used to. I mean, 14.3.3.5 maybe didn't do 85, but it do like 83, 82. This is noticeably slower. I mean, maybe it's safer. And maybe Tesla felt like they needed to go slower to be safer on the highway. I don't know. Maybe that's why they changed it, so it's probably safer overall. Why go faster if you're in danger of wrecking, right? I just hope that it doesn't become the case where I'm on the left lane like this and I got cars piling up behind me and people are getting pissed off and then I have to intervene and move over to the right or whatever. You know, that's the only thing I'm concerned about. But I hope it's the way the AI has been trained, that it picks up on cars behind you with a rear camera and then says, okay, let me speed up a little bit towards max speed. Right now we're going with the flow of traffic. Follow distance is pretty good too. I like the fact that it's keeping this much distance. It's about 2.5 car lengths, maybe a little bit more, 3, because you know, they kick up rocks and everything else and debris, and you know, Tesla paint the way it is, it gets ruined pretty fast. So I got PPF in the front, but still. Okay, we're at 80 now. Back to 79. I've got a motorcycle coming up behind me pretty fast. I'm not going to move over. I want to see if he splits lanes and just cuts between me, which I think he will do. He'll probably end up splitting lanes. I do wish I was pulling like 84, 85 like I used to. Here he comes. He's splitting lanes. So the car moved over to the left. You guys see that? Almost like off. He actually almost pushed me off the lane entirely because FSD made room for him, which I don't know. I mean, I guess it's safe for him, but not for me, right? Because I went off the lane. So that was a good test right there, lane splitting. And if you know FSD accommodates him, I've never seen it accommodate a motorcycle rider like that before. I mean, it used to move over a little bit, but not as much as it did today. Maybe you guys can let me know what your experience has been with motorcycles doing lane splitting like this guy did, and see if you have the same experience. Yeah, so we're not going above 80 miles an hour. It's stuck there. I really wish it'd go to 85. See? It seems like it's tapping out at 80 and then it backs off to 79. So that's something I'm not happy about. I think, I mean, I do hope, because there's not much traffic right now, right? So safety is not that big of a concern. I do hope that Tesla pushes it back up to 85 for the next update. I don't know if they're trying to please NHTSA and they're backing down from the aggressive profiles. Who knows? So that's one negative right there. Well, maybe 1.5 negative, because I think it over-accommodated the motorcycle by lane, because it pushed me out of the lane, which became unsafe for me, right? I mean, maybe it obviously doesn't want the motorcycle hitting me and it wants to keep him safe too, but I don't know. There could be debris on the side of the road, kind of fucked up my car, nails, whatever, you know, so I'm not too pleased with that. I think if it's going to accommodate a motorcycle, it shouldn't go over the yellow line on the left. I mean, what if it was a guardrail, right? A physical rail and not just a line? Then I would have hit that guardrail because of that motorcycle, which would have fucked my car up. Assuming the algorithm or the AI behaved the same way. So I'm gonna count those as a negative. So two negatives, okay? So the lack of speed for Mad Max on the highway, and the lane splitting behavior, I'm not too happy with. Parking 1 out of 1 so far. We went to one place and it parked fine. It didn't go over the curve like Devin Olson saw it with his Model 3. I don't know what was going on with his car or why it was doing that. I don't know. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Hey Grok, I want you to cancel the destination and then instead go home.
Route update soon. Done. Route canceled and now set for home. About 12 miles away, 20 minutes. Safe drive.
So that's nice that you can use a voice prompt and bring up Grok, because I do with Google all the time. So the fact that you can do that with Grok now, it's nice. Instead of holding down the microphone button every single time. It's very convenient. So I did notice we are changing lanes, right? But it's not as aggressive as it used to be. It used to be a little bit more aggressive with prior versions. It would change lanes more frequently. And like when it got to the left like this, it would be more aggressive with the speed. Like we just hit 81, which is an all-time high for this version so far. But we're not, and that's because I think it's trying to pass cars up to get over to the right. Otherwise, it did not want to go over 80. And see, as soon as it got a chance, it got out of the left lane. I mean, granted, we're getting off in a half a mile, but the nice thing is it's anticipating the exit and it's getting off earlier instead of the last second like it used to before. The timing of the signals, it's not a huge difference. I mean, people said that it does it last second before it turns, but I'm not really seeing that. I think it's doing it properly. It's signaling when it should. It's so weird how everybody has such a wildly different experience with FSD with relatively the same hardware, right? And the same software stack. I don't know if it's due to camera calibration, or some people have, like, their windows tinted up to here, maybe up to the camera, and it behaves differently. Who knows? I don't tint my windows. And maybe that's why it behaves differently than people that do. Who knows? Smooth lane changes, I'm not seeing any issues. Okay, no, I think we have a cop, an ambulance. So there's an ambulance up there. We're in the middle lane, so it's not going to really react to him, unfortunately, so we don't get to see what it does. But I'm pretty sure FSD sees it. Let's see if it shows up on the screen. It saw the ambulance making a U-turn. You guys see that right there? So there it goes. So we got to see parking, we got to see city driving, we got to see standard profile, we got to see Mad Max on the highway, two negatives, the max speed, and the accommodation for motorcycle riders with lane splitting. Those are the two negatives in my opinion. Not huge negatives, but the lane splitting one, I would hope it sees a guardrail if there ever was one, and it doesn't accommodate as much, because if it does, because it went over the yellow line, if there's a guardrail there, it would have destroyed my car. So that's So that was a pretty good acceleration, but it's nothing different than it did before. We have a lane merge coming up here. Let's see how it handles it. Is it going to try to get past this car and get in, or behind it? So it did the safe thing, it got behind, which I think is a good thing. I noticed it didn't signal as long as it used to. Like before, it would hold the left signal forever, and then now it just did it a little bit, you know, like the way it should. Momentarily merged in and it stopped. Anyway, I think I'm going to stop the video here. 14.3.3 overall pretty good. You guys seen the negatives I talked about and the positives. Overall, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be much worse than 14.2.2.5, but step in the right direction. I guess I'm not really seeing a huge difference. Maybe reaction time might be better. Parking was okay. Mad max speed is lower, which I'm not happy with. That's about it. So yeah, we will catch you guys next time. Hopefully 14.3.4 comes out pretty soon and we can test it out. Until then, peace.